You hit the 30, your career is over. Cabin crew is like a waiter or waitresses. Like they do nothing. It's like some people will make you feel like that.
I wanted to travel the world and see everything, and I've seen everything that I wanted to. I really enjoy that now. It's very challenging. It's very different from commercial flying. Very, very different.
People, they don't get to do that. Some people, they travel once in their life. They leave their country once. Some people here in Canada or in the US, they don't even have a passport.
There's no way that you would ever regret doing something like this.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Cabin Crew Club, the podcast where we talk about everything concerning the life of cabin crew. My co-host guest for this episode is Alice, who is coming from Brazil, from Japan, from all over the world. An amazing person, and also a cabin crew who has a very phenomenal experience. So, Alice, go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Alice. I am from Brazil originally, and I have been flying for 15 years now. It's 15 years. Lots of previous experience, but I did start flying in the Middle East 15 years ago.
And that's where we met, me and
that's where
Alice.
I met this lovely gentleman, Noah, here.
Thank you. So for this episode, we decided to talk about layovers, and I uncovered layovers all around the world. And I thought the best person who could do that is Alice. It's not because just experience in commercial airlines, but also the experience in corporate airlines and private jets. So we will start the episode and then we'll uncover lots of things. So, Alice, I always wondered what is the difference between the layovers and the commercial airlines and then the corporate airlines. I did VIP flights, I did special flights before, and then when I moved to the Gulf Peninsula and Middle East and started doing commercial flights again, I had, how can I say, a different point of view of layovers, because they range from like a minimum rest of, let's say, 11 and a half, 12, 13 hours, and then they go to 24, 48 hours, like, of course, days off outstation, and then sometimes to even more. I had layovers where I had 3 days off outstation. I had layovers where I had multiple days off outstation with like some turnarounds in between, and I end up by spending a week outside of let's say Qatar. So that was my vision of the layovers. It's like it allows you to rest at the same time, explore all these new destinations, the global cities, and then enjoy also the accommodations, because I'm not going to say most of the times, but sometimes you are in a very fancy hotels. Like in China, they used to put us in some resorts and nice hotels. So I have some memories about that. Not the ones at the airport. So for me, yeah. As I said, I did also VIP and commercial flights, which is very demanding. I don't know how you do yours. And I want to know, because I don't have a huge experience with that, I want to know the corporate airline layovers for you. They represent what? What's the difference between them and then the layovers from commercial airlines?
So yeah, that is a really good question. And I think that there's so much to it. When you say corporate flying, we had this conversation briefly before, but corporate flying, we have private flying for people that do own private jets. We have charters. Usually what happens for a corporation is that we actually end up with really short layovers because they're on business trips and they need to maximize their, work time. So, meeting here and meeting there, gone here, then they need to be somewhere else immediately. So we're hopping around from one place to another a lot, internationally as well. I'm not saying we don't have short layovers. Long layovers. We do actually have really long layovers. Europe, Asia, you name it. But we do also a lot of shorter ones. Before I joined a corporation, I was also on a private plane for someone that owned that plane, and in that case, we had way longer layovers, and then that could go up to 2 weeks gone, and that's quite normal as well. So again, you might be hopping from one place to another in Europe and Asia, but yeah, but like longer, so they're more on like a
Mhm.
vacation mode, and then for a corporation they're more like on work mode. So I think that the vibe is very different. But layovers, I mean, what can I say? We try to do the best and maximize our sleep time, I guess.
True, true.
That's what I do, at least. I do it. Sleeping is really important for me, especially now that we're getting older.
What older age?
We're
What's
not
that?
that
I don't
young,
understand.
crazy flight attendants anymore.
I'm sorry, I'm not concerned.
I mean, yeah, I think, when was it that we had our layover? Our first layover.
Oh,
Do
our
you
first
remember?
layover. Our first layover it was definitely Sao Paulo. I think it was one of my first flights to Latin America with the company we worked together for. So yeah, it was. We went there, and I actually loved that layover because we went out. We had a dinner, the whole set of crew. Normally, I don't do that. I don't go out with the crew. I do things by myself on my own. In that time we went out, we had so much fun. I was like, wow, this is like a big family. And then when we got to the hotel, I met someone who became a very, very good friend of mine, who was working at the hotel. And then I went to ask him, receptionist, I went to ask him, I want to go to this place, and it was like a big party. And then he looked at me and he was like, oh, we're gonna become very good friends. And he was like laughing. I was like, why you're laughing? And he said, oh, if you want, I'm going with my friends there later on tonight. Do you want to join us? I was like, definitely. I don't know anything in Sao Paulo. Yes. So I just waited for him when he finished his shift, changed, and then they picked me up, and then we went. We had an amazing time. So it's not just having fun on a layover, it's gaining friends. Until now, like, we kept in touch. And a very special thing, he's also Brazilian with Japanese background, so it was very special to remember and keep everything about you. So I was like, oh, this is the first layover here. I went to Rio before, but like the first in Sao Paulo, and the nicest people I met, they were Brazilians, mixed Japanese, and they are very international, and they were very, very friendly. So I just like loved it. I loved it so much.
Minute, was I in that layover?
You were in a layover, but you didn't go out with us.
Oh,
Yes,
see, I was
sorry.
maximizing my sleep. See, there you go.
I know. Oh, I I wasn't.
I
I
said no to a
wasn't.
party. I was maximizing my sleep.
I wasn't. It was funny because what happened is I do always my research before going to the destination, and I know where to go. I use fake GPS on my phone. So I show like in the destination already, and I try to get friends, chat with people, and see. So I prepare my layover in advance. So when I arrive there, sometimes you meet people, and then you just like click with them, and they become very good friends of yours for a long time. Most of these people, they are very, especially when they are locals, they're in love with their country, so they want to show you the best spots. And so that's what happened when I went. I was just asking because I knew I did the research just before, and I knew there is that party, and I wanted to go to that place. And then it was like, well, we are going there. It's Saturday night. We are going there. Let's go. Come with us. And I felt safer, not just because someone is going with me, it's because someone is from the hotel, knows the staff, the whole team, and then suggested like that. I felt like, wow, this is the hospitality I want. So it just showed me another image of the whole country, and then how people they are. So I just loved it. And another thing, everybody speaks to me in Brazilian in the flight. So I was like, do I look Brazilian? I want to learn this language. I love people here. I see how they giggle and laugh and enjoy their conversations, and even how they handle the alcohol. So I was like, yes. So that was one of the best layovers, to be honest.
Wow, you did your homework. You
Oh,
Yeah. I don't think I've ever gone that far. For me, it was more like whatever happens, happens. And I did end up in amazing, amazing party scenes or sightseeing or, whatever you end up doing. But you go an extra mile for that. I'm actually impressed. You prepare
I
yourself and you do your homework. I never did that.
I honestly, when I did, like, I searched, for example, let's say I want to go to a very hyped area. So what I do is I will look for the hotels around, very centered there, and I will put the address of that hotel on my GPS, fake GPS. So it changes my location. So when I connect into any dating app, there is apps for friends or like hanging out. So I go there, I show that I'm there, and I say, well, I'm just visiting. I'm gonna be busy for this 2 days, but I'm free starting, let's say Saturday. And so they all start planning with me on Saturday. So I make multiple plans in case this one didn't work, this one didn't work, this one. So I have like a choice. And I really, honestly, that was one of the best thing I did because I gained so many friends, amazing people. I seen the beauty that I knew it exists in each country because of these people I met, because they wanted to show me what's beautiful in their country, what they really admire. And if someone admires something, they it's like they convince you to like it too, or love it, or fall in
Yeah.
love with it.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's the best way, I guess. It is the best way. So, yeah, congratulations.
So
You did
I
good. You did
know.
good.
I never shared this. So I was like, I think people might need to get some real advanced high level tips to enjoy their layovers. But just be careful, okay? Hide always your passport, your valuables, belongings, things that you are not supposed to lose. Did you ever meet someone, how can I say, very famous, and you were so impressed or surprised or amazed by their attitude, their behavior, their personality, which was, let's say, maybe different than the one that you saw in social media or in the media or in movies or in like stage or whatever? Someone that you knew is very famous, but you were like, wow, this person is totally different.
Well, so you know what? So me and celebrities, it's just yeah, I had celebrities on board before. I just don't really know who anyone is. Like, unless you're Madonna or Brad Pitt, I mean, that's basically about it. I probably would not know who you are. So I am horrible with celebrities. I had people, oh, wait, I have one funny one. I had the whole entire Red Hot Chili Peppers band once. And
Oh, I like them.
yeah, no, they were really nice. But one thing that I do remember about that flight, and then also another flight that I had with this famous, and I have no idea who she was, but apparently she was really famous, Lebanese singer, and it was a flight out of Lebanon. But people go crazy. People, they do try to come into the business class area, first class area. They try to take pictures, and it's kind of stressful in a way to just kind of like try to keep them away and like, no, just you can't do this. So that was, I'm in work mode. I'm not there to, yay, celebrities, youpie, not really. So, it can be a little bit annoying. But every single one of those unknown celebrities in my case were nice. I don't think that I ever had anyone being, extra or rude or anything like that. I think that the only thing about flying celebrities is usually dealing with the passengers that are around and getting a little too excited. Have you had anything like that happen to you before? I mean, you had, I'm
Ooh.
sure you probably know more people than I do out there.
I did VIP flights and then special flights, so they were just like regular, like you. I'm just here for work, and I somehow have a very high ego. And I was like, "What? There is nothing that makes you better than me." I'm just kidding, but I did some flights where the celebrities were like trying to pass for regular people. And
Okay.
then I have a phenomenal memory. Like I forget no, like it's like if I saw you in a movie, even if you were an extra, I know you. So I had this flight was to Saigon, and it was one French actress who was in Mission Impossible. And I'm like, wait a second. I'm looking at the cast and we're like, well, these ones are like regular French actors. But this one, I saw her somewhere. So I couldn't. I was so curious. I took the iPad. It was the internet. I went to try to log into Google. It didn't work. So I took my phone, went to Google, searched the cast of Mission Impossible, and I said, with the French actress, because I cannot recall the name because on a PIL, the name is not the right one. And so I went searching all around, and then we're like, it's her. Impossible. And what also marked it, I just watched a movie that she did recently at the time in French, and then we're like, impossible. You cannot forget her. She has a very remarkable, like her eyes and her eyebrows. She's blonde naturally. She has sharp blue eyes, but she has thick, darker eyebrows. So I was like, wait a second. Mm-mm. So I went to her, approached her, asked her, and then she said, yes, it's me. And I was like, why your name is different? Well, she was like, well, because I have two passports. I was like, are you trying to avoid something? I was like, no, I'm fine. And I was so happy because when I watched that movie, I was a little kid. So I was so excited. I had another one, was a French singer. Her name is Shaim. Super famous, super, super, super famous. Extremely good looking. And then I did not know who she is. Like, I was like, oh, I saw this one somewhere. And then, I'm behaving with her. Like, I was sassy and funny during her flight. And I was like, oh, you have to do this, la, la, la. Why you are late? And the cracking jokes here and there. And then suddenly I just, when she's disembarking, I say, have a lovely day. And then I'm like, oh no, it's you. And then she just turned because she realized I recognized her. And she was like, yes, it's me. And she just couldn't stop laughing at my reaction because I was like a little kid. I was like, oh my God, I love her. I love her. I love her. And she was very good looking, to be honest. Zero makeup and looking as stunning as how I saw her. Excellent. Some people got it. And I had some other celebrities that they just put huge big glasses like a mosquito shades, and they don't
Doesn't
want
it
to.
make it a little more obvious?
I know. It was
I've
like,
seen that
who?
before. I feel like everyone is staring at you even more.
I was like, you know that you are in an airplane. There is no sun. Everybody gonna recognize you, and then you are like hiding. And we're like, no. I feel like the moment you do that, it's the moment when you are saying to me, I'm not an approachable person. You could be very nice, but that's what it says to me. But in general, I don't jump on people and celebrities. I had a chance to meet even Kylie Minogue, and she was performing in Morocco, and I was there for a stop. And then I met her in a hotel, and she was very friendly. And I'm a huge fan. I didn't feel like, oh my God, I'm gonna faint, and this is where, please take a picture with me. And then I will like, it makes me happy. It's someone that I admire. Their music is amazing. They're a celebrity. They're kind. Cool. Period. Full
Yeah,
stop.
I think so too. Yeah, you don't have to go into shock mode at all. Like they look just like us,
I
fat, hair
know.
day, and
Did
all. I've seen it. I've seen it. I don't know who they are, but I mean, I see other people going crazy. That's all I see. I'm like, okay.
I'll give it an exception. For me, I might go crazy if it's Britney Spears because I love her. I would want to hug her.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, I wouldn't be like that. I probably wouldn't even notice. So,
Oh, I think Michael Jackson, you will notice him from super
well, yeah,
far
that
with
one, if
Madonna.
that one was around, I
Yeah.
guess.
Um, I have, while we are still talking about layovers, I want to know what was the craziest, most bizarre experience you had on a layover with a crew member.
There's so many, like,
I know.
so, so many. Even the one that we had together, I think that was quite
Oh,
me-
the restaurant was so fun. I was already drunk by the time we got back to the hotel.
Yeah, so this is the thing about, I think, I don't want to say just flight attendants generally speaking, but people in aviation, what is up with us? Why do we drink so much? And, right? Am I wrong?
No, you are not, to the point that I have this as a topic. I'm having an episode specially for adrenaline junkies, alcohol, drugs, like collecting something, being addicted to something. We can be addicted to anything: makeup, perfumes, shopping, everything. Like, it's, I think cabin crew can easily develop an addiction to anything, like Korean drama, like anything. Just
Yeah.
name it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that there, yeah, drama, you name it. But I think that we drink a lot, and I think that's great. I think that's awesome. I love drinking. I'm not an alcoholic though,
Same.
but I do love a good drink, and then most of my memorable layovers were obviously when you end up having a little too much of that, nice local cocktail that it's part of the cultural experience, right? You go to a new country, you want to experience their, beers, their cocktails, their whatever's local. So, oh God, I can name so many of them, but one of them that is still so memorable for me was in Maldives. And that's
Oh.
mostly because I do love the destination, love the beach, love the water, love the sun, and I loved the open bar at the resort.
There is no one in Earth. I don't know anyone who went to Maldives and said, nah, I don't know anyone. Every single person I met in my life who just went to Maldives, they say the same thing. I love the beach or the beaches. I love the sand. I love the weather. I love the sun. I love every single thing. And then they add to me in the open bar. And I'm like, wow.
I mean, but how great it is for you to reach such a beautiful destination, have, all that beautiful water and beautiful sand, and then the beautiful open bar with amazing cocktails. And we got there in the morning, and I was so excited that I sat at the open bar, and it was at the pool. So you're sitting in the pool, and I started drinking some mimosas. It was morning. And then the next thing I know, it's like 5, 6 p.m., and I'm still sitting there drinking God knows what at that point. And all my crew members were all there, and everyone at that point was, being loud and just having a good time. Yeah. The problem is always working the next day. But yeah, that's the tough part. But I think that at the end of the day, it's kind of worth it, right?
True. The cabin crew and alcohol, it's a thing. And to enjoy destinations, we tend to go out and then have fun and then try new alcohol from destinations. It's spice. It's like you add spice to the layover. It makes it fun. It makes you also go wild, crazy. And then with that, you have no limit of having fun. And I love that. I had amazing layovers based on that. We also, sorry for saying, for repeating this, cabin crew and alcohol, it's a very good combination actually,
Right.
because we do drink, but it's a quality drink. You know what to drink, you know your limit. We develop this like, wait a second, I am too much. Now I need to go run to my room because I don't want to be trashy and then, so we know our limits, because at the end of the day, you're a cabin crew and you represent an airline, and you don't want to be in a video where people are making fun of you, and you don't harm just yourself and your reputation, you harm also the airline you work for.
Like I said, I think it's also part of the cultural experience. We land in Japan, you want to have sake. You land in Europe. I mean, you want to, you're in France, you're in Italy. You want to go out and try some, local wine, and the list goes on and on. I mean, I went to that bar in Belgium once, Delirium 2000 different
Yeah,
types
I know which one.
beers, and you're just like, yeah, let's do this. And then you go to Oktoberfest in Germany, and you're like, well, we're drinking
Oh my
beers now.
god.
And then the list goes on. So when I say we want to experience it, we're just, we're really going for it.
Yeah, it is very special. So now I want to know, what was the biggest cultural shock that you experienced on a layover, international layover, that made you feel, oh wow, or like just amazed you?
Um, Bangladesh,
Mm-hmm.
right?
What was special about it?
Nothing. It was just a cultural shock. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. Sorry. Um, I mean, oh my god, I'm sorry. Yes.
Um,
Oh my god, Noah. Oh my god, I'm crying.
I'm glad you didn't put foundation.
yeah. uh, yeah, I didn't mean to. So yeah, crossing the street in Vietnam. Noah, have you done it? Did you survive?
No. No, I didn't actually. There is a thing about me. Even here in, let's say, in Montreal, I don't like to cross the street if I don't have the right to cross the street. If it's not a green light for me, I would not cross the street. I know it's even here, it's tough with the weather and it's minus whatever you can imagine, and I still stand and wait till it passes to green and then I cross the street. But in Vietnam, I was like, wait a second. I don't understand. Is this even a street to cross? Or I should go on the same way than the cars and the bicycles and people, or I didn't know how to do it. I think I just took a tuk-tuk. I was
Yeah,
like,
it's
take me to the other side. Take me to the other side.
I know
No,
the
it was.
amount of scooters that
Mm.
are just basically around. It's just too. I think that we had a local once next to us say, "Are you guys just gonna like wait because this is not? It's just not gonna happen." They were like, I'll teach you a trick. Just close your eyes and go." That was
That's
it. We're like,
hilarious.
are you sure?
I was like, no.
Yeah.
What? No, I just do it. I think I survived 34 years now by doing it. Maybe you would just go. I was like, I don't want to be that the end of the 35 years you had of crossing the street. The biggest cultural shock I had was in Oman with Omani people. The best people ever. That I thought something is wrong. Like they were so nice that I was very suspicious. Wait, you cannot just invite people to your house. You, your wife, your father, your mother, your brothers are being that welcoming. And then you go somewhere else and someone does the same thing. And we're like, are these people all serial killers? Or like, if you are like in here in North America or like in some other parts of the world, you will definitely be suspicious and scared. But then I just realized they were very, very cool people. They are just friendly. It's like in Philippines. I went to the Philippines, same thing. I was like, well, people cannot be this nice. You know what I mean? You start that was very, very shocking to me. They were so nice to me. Like I walk and they were like saying some nice words and was like, "Oh, you're so cute" or something, or they just smiled for no reason. So that was something I did not experience because a lot of places you either have to be very cautious or we travel, so we always watching our belongings, and so when we go somewhere and someone is nice, you're like, wait a second, the alarm is on, the warnings, the red flags, and then you start watching your back. But then these people were just nice to me, so I'm like, huh, yeah. And I guess also Russia was surprising because I met some very nice people, and then they were just super friendly and welcoming. Yeah, I guess these places where I had a different opinion, or I had not even an opinion on them. You know what I mean? One from the
Yeah,
media, one I didn't even know. The Omani people, I thought it's the same people in the whole Gulf countries, which people in the Gulf countries are like nice. It's not they're not like tough or like nasty or mean, but the Omanis so far one of the best people I met in my life. With the Filipinos and Philippines, they just made me feel so welcome.
that's awesome. And Oman is a beautiful country too. I had
Oh
an
yeah, it
amazing time
is.
there. Beautiful.
Oh, it is super beautiful. country. I feel like that's the reason why they are nice. They know they have a very beautiful country. They don't have to prove anything to anyone. They whatever they need in their life is in their country. So they feel like we have everything. We are nice people. We are not like we work. They work. Unlike other countries in the Gulf Peninsula, like in Qatar or UAE, you never find an Emirati or a Qatari or Kuwaiti driving a taxi or doing some labor work. But when you go to Oman, you find them doing their own work, and they're not like poor people. They're wealthy. They have like a rich country. They have a rich culture, and so they are. I feel like they're just humble.
Awesome.
So, what's the most luxurious lounge you've been to on a layover?
Oh yeah. So because recently I was at the I think it was the JW in Seoul, Korea. Oh my goodness. Can I just say that, we had all these dinner planned, at traditional Korean restaurants, and we're so excited about it. But can I just say that I think we were there for like 4 days, but we just stayed at the lounge. We
Of
didn't
course, you
even
can
leave
say
the
it.
hotel. No, we stayed, and this was just recently. We didn't leave the lounge. It was just gorgeous. Some countries, I think China is pretty good with lounges, right?
Wow.
Yeah, mostly Asian
Luxurious
countries. I
lounges.
think Europe kind of sucks with lounges, I want to say. I don't remember anywhere in Europe that was like, wow, this is nice. But the whole hospitality, the welcoming, and Asia is great. But yeah, my recent experience was in Seoul, Korea, and it was the food, the drinks. Oh my God, open bar. You get better again, open bar.
For me, I don't know how to explain this, but I know what you mean when you say in Europe the lounges are not that good. I feel like Europe is more about practicality in their lounges, but then when you go to Asia and Middle East, like specifically the Gulf Peninsula, there is like this focus on luxurious items, lounges, amenities, everything is like luxurious. But also, it goes with the fact that the concentration of the best airlines, the five stars airlines, are in the Middle East, in the Asian countries. So we know
Right.
Cathay Pacific, Singapore, Qatar Airways, Emirates, Etihad. Like, it just named them like a lot. Malaysia, like so many airlines that are phenomenal, but also it's like the airports are good, the airports are huge, the best airports, and there is space to create fancy lounges. Like, I remember, like, one of the best I went to was the first class in Qatar, in
Are we
Doha
talking
International.
about airports or are we talking about hotels? I guess both, right?
No, I was going to lounges. Does not
So
matter
like
if it's in
airport,
the
like hotel lounges and airport lounges.
both.
Both, right? Okay.
Okay,
Sorry.
so for me, of course, best lounges I've been to, they were in Hong Kong. There's no comparison.
Yeah.
But the best lounges I've seen at airports, I will still say the first class for Hamad International Airport in Qatar.
Was
That was
it
phenomenal.
really?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't see. I don't go through passengers terminals much anymore. So I'm not quite sure how it is at the airports. But I heard, yes, in the Middle East, amazing, amazing.
So I know in corporates, the layovers are not planned, scheduled, and the destinations are also not rostered. So I want to know, what was the most unexpected destination that you were pulled for?
You know what? I actually had a pretty steady schedule, actually, to be quite honest. Yeah, with all the private flying that I've done in the past, nothing really unexpected ever showed up. We didn't work on a standby kind of reserve standby. I never. I know that some companies do that. I think especially charter, so they'll tell the clients, if you're traveling, let's say Friday, okay, well, you can show up from this time to this time. We'll wait for you. So then kind of work on standby, right? So you have a crew on standby for that. I actually, honestly, like, I don't think I've ever done that. Not that I remember. So I never really had anything unexpected. Schedule changes mid trips. I had that with private flying in the past, where I think I was in New York and then we were supposed to be going somewhere cold in Europe, and it was like, oh no, we're going to Mexico instead. And my suitcase like full of my suitcase is like full of winter stuff, and I'm like, okay, well, I don't have a bathing suit, but I guess, it is what it is. So things like that happen, but nothing that extreme, I would say. What about you? Have you experienced something like that in the past?
Ooh, yes, I did. I had a very weird one where like uh Athens, Paris, New York, Hawaii. No
All together,
sleeping,
like just hopping from one place to another?
no sleep, no rest, no. Yeah, you just that
Wow.
it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare I don't want to even remember. It like when you drink coffee like you're drinking water,
Yeah, I
just
think
sipping it
that
just
the thing about our job is that my suitcase is basically always kind of, ready to go, and I always have basics in my suitcase that will go with me everywhere. And
mhm.
nowadays that includes a bathing suit. Even if it's winter now, it's cold, basically everywhere we go is cold now. And but guess what, I do have a bathing suit in my suitcase just in case. So you might want to have those just in case items in your suitcase, I guess, and that's the way to go, because you just never know.
I had that even with commercial flights. So I had this. I was going to Maldives, and then suddenly switched to Algeria, and then I was like, "Well, I'm not Arabic speaker," and we were like, "But you are French speaker." So I was like, "Okay, I have no excuse here." And I had no clothes. I had like tank top, sandals, and like nothing else. And then literally a speedo with me. I didn't even have a short because I was like, I'm going to the room. I'm gonna put my tank top, like it goes straight to the beach or to the pool, and then I end up in Algeria with nothing to wear to go out. So I was like, "Well, I'm stuck here," and it was a long layover. So since that, I said, I'm not the type. I always have. Oh, also, one time, wait, I remember this. One time I was in. I think that was the same week. I went to Nairobi, and then of course I need to go out. And then I was like, let's go out. Because I had a friend flying with me and I had no clothes. I realized I forgot my shoes and then I had no clothes. So I went to all the crew and I was like, what do you have? All the girls. I have this top I took from this and that and like from all the crew. And I made an outfit that was very cool for clubbing because it was Friday or Saturday. And I went and it was a cool outfit. And I said, okay, now I made it through this flight. I made it through the night. I will always have a set of, let's say, a warm destination and also something for cold destination. So to avoid this drama.
Yeah, you said it all.
Um,
I think now that I'm thinking about it, I'm sure you've done airport standbys also, but that's when things like that happens. But the fact that, you have your crew members out there, and especially when you're flying commercial and you're flying on a big plane and you have all these other flight attendants around with you, and I've done it before. I'm like, hey, I don't have anything to wear to go out clubbing, I guess. And it just, you make friends and then you borrow their shirts, their dresses, and just kind of put an outfit together and you go out and have fun. I've done it before. Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, but it's super fun.
I normally don't do that. I don't even like touching people's clothes, but I
What?
did it on that
But
because
you
I
have to.
know I do. I have to tell you one thing. I have lots of clothes that I don't have anymore, and we're like, wait a second. I had that jacket. I did wear that jacket only once in that picture. Where is it? And then I remember that I have friends or like colleagues and we're like, can I get your scarf or your shoes or your jacket? And then they are gone. So I don't do that myself. But I have to admit, in the Nairobi flight, I did that. So I was like,
Borrowed from someone.
yeah, I did that. But they were all girls. Even the jean I was wearing, it was girls' jean. So I was like, okay, I'm fine. So I have a very, very special question,
Yes.
which I know you avoided because it didn't sound good. So I want to know if there is any destination, layover destination, that you would not want to visit again.
Okay, well, going back to the cultural shock question as well that we talked earlier. So places like Bangladesh and India for me were a bit of a cultural shock in not a very nice way, just because it was very different from my reality, from our reality, right? And in a sad kind of way. I guess you kind of know that it's out there, but once you're there in the middle of it, it's like, whoa. So, would I want to go back to that? No, I don't. Am I used to the waters and their food and all of that? Just, it wasn't really, great experience with the whole
Well,
digesting the
I get
food and all of that. So, I would want to
I
say
get
that
your point.
yeah, I really don't care. Actually, you know what? I mentioned India, but I had a really good time in New Delhi, and there's the negative side, and then there's the positive side of all of that. But no, wait a minute, Dhaka didn't really have any positive sides, honestly. But okay,
But no, you see, this is exactly what I wanted to say. Um, for example, there is destinations where I don't want to go to, like let's say Georgia. It was not bad at all. Like people were very nice. It was cute, but that's all. I did not see anything that I would be interested in. There is like Bangladesh, Dhaka. I had very fun time because I was with my friend. Everything I saw was nice, perfect. But because I did not prepare my flight, that was a standby flight, for example. I did not prepare my flight in advance, so I did not meet these people that they make you see the beauty, the things that I would see and say, "Oh, wait, this is nice. I enjoy this one." I went to India multiple times. I have to admit, I also didn't enjoy certain aspects of it, but I also enjoyed a lot of other parts of it. And everywhere, like even here, Montreal is amazing. People are amazing. Everything is nice, but the weather is brutal. So everywhere there is something bad, something good. It could be cultural, it could be historical, it could be, say, climate. But I get your point. That's why I was always preparing my flights in advance, and likely to certain destinations where people were trying to scare me and tell me, you know what, you won't like it. It might go against my principles in life, like things where I know I know in Asia you have to always respect the seniors, but for me, I will respect you to the extreme. But the moment you have no respect for me, I don't want to deal with you. I don't care if you are senior than me. It does not give you a bitch pass because you are older than me or senior than me. Period. So there is things that are against my principles. And
yeah,
that's where I say, okay, that's a cultural shock. I don't. So to avoid that, I was doing this. I need to know people before. So they will try to avoid showing me the bad sides of their place. They literally take you to the nicest restaurants, to the best spots for shopping, the nicest views. So that's how I think I avoided this cultural shock. But because sometimes you didn't have time, I didn't have time to plan it before or prepare it before, I saw that shock that I maybe wouldn't accept or respect or like. And so, yeah, I
right.
saw it in a couple of countries. And yeah,
It's funny you
so.
mentioned Georgia. I kind of felt the same way when I went there. I was like, what's happening? Where am I? It wasn't a bad feeling. It was just a
At
weird
all.
feeling. Algeria made me feel that way as well. There's a few places out there that were like, wow, this is just not, and again, I'm not saying this in a bad way, but it's just weird. So very interesting and very weird at the same time. Now, would I want to go back? Not really.
So, a destination or a layover that I wouldn't want to visit again will be a place where I went to. And can you imagine? You go somewhere just to meet someone, and you go on a date, and you just don't like the person. You hated the person, and you requested for the destinations multiple times, and you have it, let's say, 2 times in a row in that month. And then when you are going back, you find out that the person is like the station manager, and you have to deal with him. And it was like, oh my god, this person. I feel like I would just want to report sick for the next flight to avoid seeing that person. So yeah, situations like this, I would definitely want to avoid visiting the destination again.
Yeah, I don't think I had anything like that before. So,
That would be
like, not one
hilarious.
that I would want to avoid at this point. But
Did you have any scary layover experience?
I don't know. That kind of goes into the weird category for me. But I mean, again, I would go back to Bangladesh on that one. But
So you're scared. Yeah.
yeah, scary in a way that, I mean, I got stuck in places with, natural disasters, situations. Like
Like what?
I had the typhoon thing in Japan once, and I got stuck in Osaka, I think, for a little while. I mean, was it scary? No, not really. I think we were all out there drinking still. Not
Actually, that's
out,
very,
we
very,
wouldn't be walking down the street, but
yeah, that's a
yeah, but
very common one.
when you say scary, do you kind of mean, is it more like, you
Let's say
know,
dangerous. Let's
like
say
a
scary,
dangerous
dangerous.
place?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? I've been to a lot of dangerous places. Just kind of like, don't flash your Rolex out kind of place. And even Sao Paulo is one of them. You definitely Rio. I think Rio is a huge one because I had a lot of layovers there in the past. But you just kind of need to, I think, know what you're doing. Don't be naive. Don't be dumb, and you'll be fine. I mean, I never had a bad experience. I never had anything, robbed. I lost a couple of things on me out there clubbing, but other other than that, I don't know. Did you experience anything dangerous before on a layover?
Ooh. Yes. Yeah, I did. I did experience weird, let's say scary, dangerous, yeah, adventures. Friends, for example, once I was going out like a big party again, and then I took an Uber with a friend of mine, and then I forgot my wallet there, and the Uber was still in front of him, and I'm like knocking at his window so he can open and I can take my wallet because I see my wallet. He looked at me and just left. That's the first time I take my wallet with me, and it had my passport and all my documents in. So I was very, very annoyed. I'm calling Uber and telling them this is what happened. And then he was somehow trying to blackmail me to give him around $500 euros in France. So he was like, well, give me 500. I'm like super far away. You have to. And I was like, excuse me, I was looking at you. You literally looked at me dead in the eyes, and then you left. So that was very, it was not scary, but it was challenging. It was someone who challenged me. I got my wallet back. I had to go back to the hotel because I always store some money, cash in a hotel, because I know if I lose my, like something happened to me again in Morocco where I got like I lost all my bag. Well, I literally got robbed in a dangerous way. And so I was always, whenever I go to a destination, I leave some cash and some documentation inside the safe in a hotel room in case I lose my wallet and I have to pay or something. I can take a taxi, go back to the hotel, grab the cash, pay the taxi, and then at least feel safer. And so yeah, he had to drive back to the hotel. I had to take a taxi to go to the hotel, ask the taxi if he can wait so I can go and get money. I had only dollars. That's why I said $500. I had only dollars, went to the reception, changed the money, like, and then give him, like, I paid him for the fare. And then the other one came, give me my wallet, and it was like, oh, give me money. And it was like, well, you're a horrible person. And so I give him, I think, 150 euros, but I reported it to Uber and then they reimbursed me, I think, if I remember. And then I
Okay.
went back to the party. So it was like
Of
crazy.
course.
Yeah, I went back to the party because I say, I need to take this stress out of me or I'm gonna lose my mind. I had that scary experience, but the most dangerous and scary one, it was in Morocco. Like, and it's very weird because Morocco is not a dangerous country; it's a safe country. But it did happen to me. Yeah, I had like, I think it's very funny. I had an interview for corporate airlines for private jets, and so I flew to Casablanca because that's where they were having their invitation only interviews. And so I went there and I was taking a key, like I was staying at my friend's. He gave me a key to his apartment, and front of the station, the police station, someone just came with like a huge big sword. They are in a motorbike, and then they wanted to hit me, and then they were pulling the bag, and I was pulling it back. It's my travel bag, and so I just left it because I don't want to lose an arm. And so yeah, that was scary experience. Like, I don't like unsafe places, and I
Yeah.
don't like places that they are safe but for me they are unsafe.
Yeah.
So that's a destination where I will never go back, or I will avoid, or if I go back there, I will make sure that I'm surrounded by either people or in environments where I feel safe.
Yeah, yeah. There's all these tricks and tips for flight attendants to be safe on layovers, and I think that that should be a subject for another episode. But definitely
Safety.
a lot to tips out there.
Well, we had a very lovely conversation. So I wanted to go to a conclusion of the whole episode and ask you, what are your, let's say, for the new generation, the ones that they want to become cabin crew, or like for commercial airlines or for corporates, what are the best tips that you can give them? Because you did it all. You worked here and there. So what is your advice? What is the tip you will give to them? And then what is the advantages they can have on from this career path?
Yeah. Well, I didn't really plan my career path. It just happened. And I always wanted to be a flight attendant. So I went after and I just basically started where they first took me in. I wouldn't change a thing. I think that it was great, how I started in the Middle East. I think that that was a great experience. That actually prepared me for everything that came afterwards. So, like I said, it wasn't planned. I didn't plan on, oh, okay, let me, first start in the Middle East and then let me move my way up to corporate. I actually never thought that. That never crossed my mind. I just wanted to be a flight attendant. I barely knew what different types
Of
of flight attendants were out there when I first started. I didn't even know. I didn't even know that private flying was a thing. Corporate flying was a thing. I didn't know. I didn't know anything.
But I have a
So
question. I have a question. I know you always, I remember we had a conversation. You always wanted to become a cabin crew. But if I recall, is your dad a pilot?
No, no,
No, or
nobody.
he
Well,
worked.
my grandfather was a pilot, but I nobody
Your
really in my
grandfather.
yeah,
Yes.
but nobody in my family was ever a commercial pilot or anything like that. So I just I grew up in a multicultural family. So as a child, I think I traveled a lot. As a UM, unaccompanied minor. Back and forth from Japan to Brazil to the United States, and I think that just being in that environment was like. I remember when I was maybe like 10 or 11 years old, a flight attendant asked me, "So, what do you want to be when you grow up?" And I answered her. I pointed out to her, and I said, I want. Wait a minute. I want to be you." So that was yeah, so that was my answer. Like I said, I was 10, 11 years old when that happened. And that just, it's kind of, it got stuck with me. And I went to college and everything. But, at the end, I was like, this is what I want to do. And I went after, and I don't regret it at all. I mean, I had such an amazing experience. I met so many people. I mean, I know I have friends all over the world. What, you, for example,
Hello.
you're out there and so many experiences that I had, and I've seen the world. That was one thing that I wanted to do. I wanted to travel the world and see everything, and I've seen everything that I wanted to. And then ended up kind of changing path a little bit and going to, the corporate side. And I really enjoy that now. It's very challenging. It's very different from commercial flying, very, very different. In fact, I don't even think that it has anything to do with commercial flying, to be quite honest.
Do you think it's harder? Do you think
You
it's
probably know
harder?
that. It depends. It depends. There's so many different, types of, private flying, and it depends on what they expect you to do. Some accounts only hire, private chefs, and and the list goes on. So it
Exactly.
really depends. Yeah, but it's definitely more challenging. But yeah, I kind of I'm glad that things happened the way that they did for me. And if this is what you want to do, I say go for it. There's no way that you would ever regret doing something like this.
100%. It's 100%. It's a career where it does not matter what you don't like about it. At the end of the day, when even let's say you retire, you change your career path, or you just stop, you sit and you're like, this is phenomenal. I did see the world. People, they don't get to do that. Some people, they travel once in their life. They leave their country once. Some people here in Canada or in the US, they don't even have a passport. I know people here, when I talk to them, they know one destination. They call it the South. It's Mexico or like Cuba. And me, I'm like, I know everywhere. Like, just name it. Put your finger, like point whatever in a card. Put your finger in a place, and I will tell you what is that place. And I was there, I will say, oh my god, I was there, I love it, their food is amazing, people are amazing, or something. So yeah, I think, as you said, if you want to do it, just go for it. And
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are trying to make certain cabin crew like families. I really wanted to say this. I do remember, I'm not like someone who's crazy about the Kardashians, but I remember I heard once Kim Kardashian say to her sister, talking about modeling, by 21 or something like that, your career is over. And I heard this about cabin crew. Like, once you hit the 30, your career is over. Cabin crew is like a waiter or waitresses. Like, they do nothing. It's like some people will make you feel like that. And these people could be even your family, like family members or close friends. If you want to do it, go for it, because
Yeah.
lots of these people, they can't do it, they can't make it. We clearly know Kim Kardashian is short, she can never be a model. If she could be, she would be hitting the runways, but her sister could. And that's how I see it. Certain people are still cabin crew at this age. It's like the modeling. Oh, you cannot do it after 21. We have Naomi, who's like a legend, and nobody can do it better. And I know cabin crew that are over 50 and still doing it, and they look stunning. They look beautiful. They have an amazing life, amazing career. And when you sit with them, they sound way more intellectual than anyone who has a huge academic background, because they've seen it all and they experience it from all around the world. And I know that for a fact, because I know these people, and I know one of them, which is you. You are way younger. No, I'm not saying you are old at all.
Well,
You're way
we're all
younger.
getting older. We're all getting older. I think that the being young concept is so, it's so Middle Eastern airline.
I
Um,
don't know what you are saying. I'm young.
yeah, I know.
Actually, I'll tell you.
I don't know what you're talking about, but this whole being young concept comes from the Middle Eastern airlines, and
You think?
well, they do have an age limit. Yeah, they don't
But
hire if you're 40 and you apply, they're not going to take you.
I have to tell you one thing, because this is one of the topics I'm gonna have on the next episodes, which is age. And I have to admit, I had an experience in Qatar Airways with two junior crew. They were batchmates. One was, I think, it wasn't clearly an African country. I don't remember which one. And the other one was Japanese who left. So remember her name, Mariko. Amazing, amazing, amazing girl. One was 39 and the other one was 40.
They were hired
They
at
had
that age?
Yes, they were junior. They were doing their first week flying and they had no previous experience, which
That's so
shocked
weird.
me. I know, I was like, wait a second. Oh, you have experience because the one I don't remember if it was she was Nigerian or Kenyan or whatever. She was sharp. She behaved like she was flying for years and years and years. I was so surprised how professional and smart she is. But she just told me I never had like this. Like actually, my first flight was to come to Qatar, and I was so amazed. I was like, wow, you clearly were made for this job. And the other one was just like any junior crew. So I was very surprised. But I know even in Europe, there is a lot of airlines that they can hire you over 15. There's other airlines that they have age limits. And that's
Oh, yeah, yeah.
something that's
Yeah. It depends on the airline, and that's what I was going to say. I mean, come to the US if you're old. You can always start flying here in the US. No problem with that. I mean, just Google Betty Nash. She's the oldest one, I
the
think, right now. I
78
think she's
years old.
89. I think she's 89. If I'm not, she's 88 or 89 right now, and she's number one seniority in American Airlines, and she's still flying.
I know Norwegian, they can hire people even over 50, Norwegian airline. I know a friend of mine told me that she met someone who's over 40 who joined Etihad, and it was a very, very good person. And then she was like, I thought it's the supervisor, but she was like just flying for a month. And so I actually like it because you can go after your dream. At certain,
Oh yeah,
like it does not,
absolutely.
it's like phenomenal. You had a career and then you're like, you know what, I always wanted to be a singer, I always wanted to be a dancer. I mean,
It's
like you
never
cannot
too
be,
late.
but yeah, never, but still never too late. But I always wanted to be a cabin crew, so you can make it.
Yeah, we always wanted to be.
As we're wrapping this episode, I just want to give a little reminder to everyone that layovers can be an amazing experience. Does not matter if you are in corporate or commercial flights. Remember that your rest will be from 12 up to unlimited number of hours. So make the best out of it, enjoy it, and have rest, but also have a drink.
A
So,
drink, a
yes,
a.
a drink or many. Enjoy your layovers because that's the part how you enjoy flying. That's the thing that makes you love flying and the thing that will make you feel so proud of yourself when you go back home. I did something nice, I discovered something amazing, or I just had so much fun there. Alice, I am so proud and happy to have you in this podcast. And I want to hear from you how you would like to, how can I say, finish with me this episode. Close the
Finish,
episode.
close the episode. Yeah, no, like I said, it has been a pleasure talking about remembering the past. Um, but layovers are definitely a great thing. Don't ever stop having fun on layovers because lots of old flight attendants out there are really, not into enjoying it anymore. But just, step out, enjoy, have a drink or more, go shopping. There's so much to do. Yeah, if time permits, obviously, but catching up on sleep is important too, and that's what I like to do. So, yeah, have fun.
Perfecto. So I want to again thank you from the bottom of my heart. I always admired you. I had fun with you. You have a very special place in my heart. I thank you again. And for sure, I will call you again for another episode in something that you would like to talk about. And for everyone who was listening or watching us, thank you very much for your support. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you.